Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Look at your girl being consistent. Made another video. But anyway, welcome back to my channel. Again, as always, thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments, your sweet messages. Definitely appreciate it all. I realized that this specific topic I hadn't talked about on my YouTube channel. I only talked about it on my Instagram and I think I shared it on my Facebook. But I had a few people who subscribe and they reached out, were just kind of worried or just kind of wondering how things went since the last video regarding our IVF journey. So I just thought it was time to share where we are, like what happened since the last video where I talked about our IVF blessing of having our treatment, our second round paid for, and then the donor egg process. So yeah, it's just kind of time to share what happened since then. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, then I just wanted to basically have this conversation here. Back in, so you all, if you watched that last video about the embryos, that was back in July, I believe, when we got our embryos frozen and everything, and we ended up having an embryo transfer in August. So at that time, Joe was not here. He was away for work. So it was just me here for the embryo transfer. But my friend who also went through IVF, she went with me. She has been there before. She's experienced it before. So I was glad to have her support there with me for the day of transfer. So she took me to the transfer, was there. She was able to come in the room just as Joe would have if he was here. And then she took me back home. So everything with the transfer went perfect. It was just such a good day. We did brunch right before the transfer, and then we went to the clinic. Everything was just, it was just such a great day. After the transfer, we ended up getting, what do they call it? Fries. The McDonald's fries. It's just, if you know, you know. If you're in the fertility community, if you've done IVF, then you know the whole French fry thing. So we did that, and yeah, so it was a good day. Everything was fine. I kid you not, the very next day after transfer, I immediately started feeling symptoms. I felt the slight cramping and the slight twinges much sooner than I did the first transfer. The first transfer, it was probably like maybe day 3 or 4, maybe even day 5 after transfer. But this time it was literally the day after transfer. Started feeling like slight cramping, slight twinges, slight pinches. And I pretty much knew like, okay, this embryo is implanting. It's happening. So the rest of that week, I pretty much just kind of took it easy. I was working from home. So I think I did take off work. I did take off work, but I just kind of took it easy. Didn't really do much of anything. Hung out with my dogs. Yeah, didn't really do anything. That weekend, my friend and I, the one who went with me to the transfer, we ended up going to Nashville for the weekend. So it was a great way for me to just kind of get my mind off of, you know, the 2-week wait, the transfer, the anxiety that comes along with that. It's a great way for me to get my mind off of it and just to kind of get out of the house. Because it was like, again, I said, it was just me here. So it was just a great distraction. I did decide to test because by that time, I think it was day 7 days after transfer. So I did decide to test. I think I tested on a Monday, and it was positive. It was a very, actually it wasn't very faint. Like you could see it. It was a clear positive. I was so excited. I remember woke up early so I can get the first pee and test with that first pee. But I was just, man, it was just such a good moment. Shared it with her. We were screaming, called Joe and sent him a picture of that. And he was like, well, duh, I already knew it. Like, duh, we knew it was happening. So he was excited too. He was just like, I can't wait till I get home. So yeah, I was just excited. I didn't really share with anybody yet, and I was waiting to share on social media until after we got past the first ultrasound. Just because we didn't get that far last time, I just felt more comfortable with waiting until after the first ultrasound. So then I think a couple days, maybe that Thursday, I think was beta 7, 8. It was either Wednesday or Thursday of that week. So I was tested on Monday, and then I think beta was like 2 or 3 days later. So I remember going in for the test and then just waiting for the call. And I got the call and everything. I'll insert that here.
Well, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Are you ready for some fantastic news?
I am.
This beta is positive, sister.
Oh my goodness.
Positive. It's 286.
Stop. Are you serious?
286, bitch. So there is positive on positive on positive.
Oh my God. So yeah, I got the call and I was just so excited to hear the numbers, especially because last time, I think my first beta was 86 or 89. I think it was 89. So to hear that it was like 286, it was, I guess double. I don't know if that's double. I don't know. I'm not good at math. But anyway, it was much higher this time on beta day than it was last time. So I was like, oh yeah, this is happening. And actually I knew even before, like I said, the next day after transfer, I was cramping, like twinges. But then there was one morning I woke up to pee and I could just smell, I think my mom said it's ammonia in the pee. Like normally on a normal person couldn't smell it, but when you're pregnant, your senses are heightened, your sense of smell. So I could smell it. And I was like, oh yeah, the embryo took. Like I knew it. I knew. And this was before I tested. This was before anything else. Like, I was like, oh yeah. Because I remember that from the first pregnancy. Anyway, beta came. 286 was the number. So excited. I remember I had tested every day because you wanted to kind of see that line double. Or not double, but darken. So that first beta, then they said, we'll come back for the next beta because they want to see that number double. So I think that was a Friday that I went back. I think it was a Wednesday, and then I went back for a Friday. So I went back, the number had doubled. Actually, it did more than double. So everything was rising normally. I think I had 2 more betas before the ultrasound. But yeah, so everything was going good. I think at one point before the ultrasound, I think I did have a little spotting. So I was nervous about that because I did not have spotting the first pregnancy. So I was a little nervous about that, but my nurse was like, that's normal. The spotting is normal as long as you're not like filling up a pad. Like blood is just, if it's just spotting, it's usually normal. I mean, it's normal. It usually means everything's fine. Like you should be good. So that spotting was just really that one day and then nothing else. So we were praying and hoping that Joe would be home in time for the ultrasound because the ultrasound was like on a Wednesday and he wasn't going to be home until a Thursday. So we were praying for that, but my mom came in town to be with me, to go with me to the ultrasound just in case he didn't make it home in time. But he made it. He surprised me the day before the ultrasound. So we were so excited that he could be there to come with me for the ultrasound because I was nervous. It was just so much. So I remember waking up the morning of the ultrasound. Thank God my mom was here because like I was just crying. I was just like, I don't know if I could. This is just too much. This is too much because of the trauma of the last time, getting to the ultrasound appointment and not hearing a heartbeat. It was just the trauma of that alone was just like, it was just such a triggering moment for me. So, Joe and I prayed, we got to the ultrasound, and when she inserted the, Wanda, into my uterus, I automatically just saw that flicker, and I was just like, thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you, God. The flicker was just, I needed to see that. The flicker, and then she turned on, you know, the volume so you can actually hear it, and we heard heartbeat. It was just so amazing. We hadn't heard it before. We hadn't gotten that far. That was an experience we had never experienced before, especially after everything we had been through. So we were just so excited, so happy to be at that point. So she let the heartbeat play. We were just in awe and just so thankful. So then she takes the wand and she's like, hold on. I see something, guys. So we're like, what's going on? And then we see it. We see a second flicker. And it was like, wait a minute. Like the first one was on like this side. And then the next one is over here. And then she turns the volume and she does a little measurement. It's a second heartbeat. So our one embryo that we transferred, and I didn't mention that before, but we only transferred one embryo. Our one embryo that we transferred has split.
My eyeballs are saying.
Wait a minute.
Another one.
What?
Stop.
Yeah, okay, so this is what I see here.
Yeah.
And then when I'm scrolling over to the other side of the
Oh. There's no way.
What?
There's no
I
way.
really want to put the phone down, but oh my gosh.
There's no way.
Well,
There
there's
is
something
two.
there. That's flickering, sis.
Are you kidding me?
Let me get into a... Yeah, because that's the one we just measured at the top.
Sherelle. What is going on?
That's another baby, guys.
Are you serious? That was a sight to see. We were both just in awe. Like, God did that. Like, that was God. We didn't do that. God did that. He allowed our embryo to split and we heard two strong heartbeats. I just couldn't contain myself. Like, we were just in awe, in complete shock. And what's crazy is that I had heard, or I had saw that visual, that image the year before. You know, after we had transferred our first embryo and our only embryo from that first round, and I saw the image of, you know, the embryo had split. So I was like, well, maybe this is what God is going to do. Maybe our baby is still alive and maybe it's now two. But that didn't happen that time. So I was like, well, why would God show me that? And then a year later, that visual, like I saw that. So that was just, man, it was just surreal. It was so surreal, especially for me, because like I said, I had saw that God had given me that vision the year before. So to see it in real life, in real time, it was just like crazy. So Joe and I, we were so excited. We could not wait to get home and share with our parents. Like it was insane because it was like we were going to be thankful for just one, but here it is, there's two. Like, what are we going to do? We were just expecting one. So we got home, shared it with my mom. We got his parents on FaceTime. We got my dad on FaceTime. And it was just such a joyous day. You know, we shared it with a few of our close friends. It was just such a joyous day, such a joyous moment. And it was just like, finally, after everything we've been through, finally, like this is our time. And we just could not wait to share it with more people, but we were still just kind of keeping it under wraps for a minute. We hadn't shared it with everybody. We hadn't shared it with all our family. Like, we wanted to share with a few people first before we put it on social media, but we were just ready. We were excited to share. So, that weekend, my mom and I, excuse me. So that weekend, my mom and I were going to Philly for my cousin's wedding. So I was like, well, when we get back, you know, Joe and I will take pictures and stuff and we'll do the whole thing for social media. So mom and I went to Philly, had a good time at the wedding. Everything was fine. Shared it with my family there. And then we came back, or I came back here home. And I think that was a Monday. Yeah, that was on a Monday. And then I think on Tuesday, I had my friend come over, take some pictures of us with the dogs, because I just had just this little image of us just at home with our dogs, enjoying them, and then having a little sign, and then with our ultrasound. So I'll share a couple pictures here that we did. Yeah, so that was just such a fun moment. And then the next day, which was a Wednesday, we were scheduled to go back for our 9-week ultrasound, or 8-week ultrasound. So excited about that, ready. Like we were, you know, not thinking anything of it. It was like we got past the first hurdle, which was the, you know, the first ultrasound. So we're past that. So we're good. We're just ready to just keep trucking along. So we went in for the ultrasound, and she, you know, inserted it into my uterus, and the first thing I noticed was that there was no flicker. And I was like, And she was kind of quiet. And then I was like, is there a heartbeat? Is there? And she was like, I'm not seeing one, guys. So we're like, well, try the other one. And there was no heartbeat for the second baby either. So it was just like, we were just here a week ago, and there were 2 strong heartbeats. And now you're telling me there's not? Like, for either baby, both are gone? It literally felt like deja vu. It literally felt like deja vu, but worse. You know what I mean? It felt like, because last time we hadn't even gotten to hear a heartbeat. But to get to this point where we heard a heartbeat, we saw a heartbeat, we saw 2. We were only expecting 1, but we saw 2. And then now this week, there's neither, like there's nothing. It literally felt like the rug was just, not even just ripped from us, but ripped from us. And then we were just like tossed to the side or something. I don't know. It literally felt like, you know, you were given a gift, and then it was just taken from you. Like, nope, didn't mean to give that to you. Sorry. You're excited. You're like, this is what I've been wanting. This, you know, finally. And it was like, oh, oops, no, sorry. I didn't mean to give that to you. And it was taken from you. That's what it felt like. You know, it was crushing. Joe and I were just like sitting there. I'm like, I'm confused. Like, this was supposed to be it. We got the IVF paid for. We didn't have to come out of pocket. We didn't have to try to find a loan. Like, somebody literally paid for IVF. We had 5 embryos frozen, which was triple the amount that we, you know, quadruple the amount we had last time. Like, this was supposed to work. It didn't make sense. It did not make sense. It was just so devastating. That ride home was devastating. The talk about, you know, that I was having another miscarriage, and deciding whether or not I wanted to deliver again at home, like just let it pass naturally, or do a D&C. Like, I just wasn't ready to even process any of that, because I was just still stuck on the fact that only a week had passed. Less than a week. And you mean to tell me that it just didn't make sense? So it was just a lot to process, you guys. And I just feel like if you have not gone through a miscarriage, then you just really don't know what it feels like. And it's hard. It is the most devastating thing that as a woman, that you can go through. Because we're supposed to be pregnant. Especially as a Black woman, I'm supposed to just pop out kids. But now you're telling me not only have I lost one child, but I've lost 3. And this is just the second miscarriage. I have 3 children that I've lost in a matter of a year. It was hard. It was hard to even just kind of process that and sit through that and sit through the emotions and everything I was feeling. Thank God my friend who had been through that, like I said, she's been through IVF, she's been through miscarriages, she's lost 3 babies herself. She knew exactly what I was feeling. And it was just hard for us to tell our family, to tell our friends, especially after we had just told them less than a week before, and to share with them that it's no more. And they were so happy for us and so excited for us. And that was just a letdown, to let them down, you know, to bring them down. Sometimes you just don't know why God allows you to go through certain things, especially after we had already been through so much, you know? But this time around, because we had already been through a miscarriage, we knew exactly what we were going to feel. We knew how to allow ourselves to navigate through the feelings, the up and downs, the questions. It's like we knew what to do. You know, we knew how to give ourselves grace. We knew how to express ourselves and, you know, everything that we were going to be feeling. One thing that we did different this time was that we allowed people to be there for us. Last time we didn't really want people feeling sad for us. We just didn't really let people in, or not let people in. We didn't let people be there for us. So this time around, we allowed friends to come visit, friends to drop off food or to deliver food for us. We allowed people to check in on us. We just allowed the support that we had. We welcomed that. And that helped so much. I know not everybody feels like they need that, or not everybody likes that, or some people feel like they aren't ready for that. But for us, it was like, because we've been through this before, we need the support. We need people to be there for us. We need to accept that and receive it. So I'm so glad that we did this time around, because it helped us to get through, helped us to heal, and it helped us to just not isolate ourselves and just to be to ourselves. So thankful that we did that. But yeah, so I decided to, again, just miscarry at home. We did go back for a final check before taking the Cytotec pill, which basically induces the miscarriage. So yeah, I remember going to pick up the prescription, again, just like last time, coming home and taking it and just preparing myself for the pain of that, because this time my doctor told me that this time there's 2, you know, so it's going to be probably more painful than the last time. So I just mentally prepared myself for that. And it was painful. It was just a lot physically, because there was just so much blood. And I remember hold on. I remember when the babies came out, and just realizing that was them, and they were gone. And it was like, here I am delivering essentially my third baby, but my arms are still empty. My husband was there with me again, just like last time. I just remember being up all night from the pain and going back and forth to the bathroom, still, just releasing. And if you've ever experienced having a miscarriage at home, like your body is releasing not just the fetus, but all of the tissue, there's just clots and just so much blood that's coming out. And it's a lot of cramping, a lot of just physical pain because your body is literally delivering. It's like it's going through labor. So when I initially took the pills, and it was like maybe an hour of contractions before the bleeding started. So I remember it's like every, 10 minutes or every 5 minutes or what have you, you just have those contractions. So to have gone through that twice now, it's just a lot. It's a lot physically, mentally, and I just remember kept asking, like, God, why do you think I'm strong enough for this? Why me? We've already been through this. Like, you said that you were doing a new thing. This time was going to be different. Why is this happening again? I just remember going through that and having that feeling and having those questions. Like, I thought you were doing a new thing. I thought this was something different. We got our treatment paid for. That's, like, this should have been the miracle. Like, naturally this would be. You allow the embryo to split. Like, why would you allow the embryo to split if you were just going to take them a week later? It makes no sense. Like, why couldn't you have just kept it as just one? And one thing that God said to me was that I needed you to see the miracle. Despite what happened afterwards, I needed you to see this miracle. I needed you to know what was possible. And that I'm still doing a new thing. It's not over. And that was just comforting. It was so reassuring because He's not done. We still don't have a baby yet. We still don't have our babies that He's promised. So He's not done. And that was a miracle to see. And that means that if He did it before, He can do it again. And when I say that God was doing a new thing, He definitely was, because the second time around, although it was painful and it was hard, I was able to get through it a little bit better than the first time. We were able to, like I said, navigate through our feelings and the grief a lot better than the last time. I was able to talk and to share a lot better than I was the last time. So that just showed me that there was some healing that had been done in that first season. And because I knew that God got us through that first time, that He was going to get us through the second time. So, indeed, it was a new thing. And I'm just so thankful that God did allow us to see that miracle. Even though it didn't come to fruition, we don't have our twins with us. It was just still a blessing to even get as far as we got, considering the last time we didn't get that far. And I know it may sound crazy to some, but I still thank God for that. even though it was short-lived, the excitement only lasted a week. We still got to experience excitement. Got to witness a miracle. So he's not done. I know that he still has some miracles waiting for us. But yeah, so that's the miscarriage story. Right now we are just waiting on God to let us know when it's time to transfer again. I honestly thought I would be pregnant by now because we were initially going to transfer back in January. But God instructed me that it was time to just start anew and start fresh with a new doctor, a new clinic. So between this time, so between January and now, we've just been in the process of seeking out a new doctor, talking to other doctors, sending records. Yeah, so I've just kind of been on a hunt for a new doctor and just talking to other doctors just to get different perspectives and see if there's something that we're missing. I did take the repeat pregnancy. So I did the repeat pregnancy loss panel. So it's a blood panel where they just draw all these vials of blood and test your blood to see if you have any type of underlying things like blood clotting disorders, autoimmune diseases, anything like that that could contribute to a miscarriage. So I was diagnosed with an elevated PAI-1, which basically is like a blood clotting disorder. So that was with the first doctor. So it was determined that I would need blood thinners for the next pregnancy. But with my new doctor, there's been some other things that have been discovered, which I'll share in another video, just to talk about the next transfer protocol. But so yeah, so that's where I am with that. And then yeah, so I just trying to find, or I have been on a quest for finding a new doctor and seeing if there was anything else that we were missing, just trying to ensure that this next time is successful. Honestly, going back to the previous doctor just felt traumatic for me because I had already had 2 miscarriages. I had already had several procedures and they were talking about another procedure. Like, it was just so much. It was just traumatizing, honestly. And I just wanted a fresh start, you know? So yeah, so that's where we are now. We have another meeting with my new RE in a couple weeks. So once all of that happens, and I'll just kind of take you guys on that journey of IVF part 3. So stay tuned for that. But I just wanted to share with you the miscarriage story. I am doing well, honestly. I'm still in this healing process, and I'm just so thankful for the Daniel fast because I feel like that was just the icing on the cake for my healing. And it just took me back to putting my physical health first and getting my body where it needs to be as best as I can in my control, to get it to where it needs to be so that it can receive a baby and carry a baby or babies to full term. That is my prayer. That is my goal. So that's just what I've been focusing on this time. It's like I can't control anything else, but I can control how I treat my body. I can control what I put into my body and what I do to it. So that's where I am right now. I promise to share more updates as they come and just to kind of bring you guys along the next round of IVF. So just keep me in your prayers. And if you are someone who has experienced a miscarriage, please know that you are not alone. You are seen and heard. And just from somebody who has experienced 2, you will get through it. Just be gentle with yourself. Be gracious with yourself. Take your time. There's no time limit on healing, and healing is not linear. You're going to have moments where it just hits you and you're overcome by your emotions. Just go with that. Just ride that wave. but your healing is your healing, and it's going to look different for everybody. So don't compare your journey of healing to anybody else's. Do what feels best for you. Heal how you need to heal, you know, and do things that bring you joy, whatever that looks like. If it looks like going to get a new tattoo, which I still want to as well. So we have Isabella, which is our first baby, have her name. We do not know what the twins, we do not know their gender. We did not have any names, but I am going to, Joe and I are going to get tattoos for them. So stay tuned for that, because I may take you guys along when I get that tattoo. But whatever it looks like, I said all that to say, whatever your healing journey looks like, just go with it, you know. Do things that bring you joy. Do things that lift your spirits, whatever that may be. So take care. Again, thank you guys so much for being here, for being part of my journey, for subscribing to my channel. If you have any questions or anything that I probably did not cover in this video, just let me know. But I promise to bring you guys on round 3 of IVF. We're gonna hopefully be starting here soon. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, for all of your lovely comments, and just all of that is greatly appreciated. So I will see you next time. Bye.